Thomas here with Much Props, going to give you another how-to video. Today is a special day. It is my last day of school. Now, those of you who don't know me very well, I am a middle school teacher by day. I teach at a small school in East Texas, and today was the last day. It's usually pretty bittersweet in that it's something I'm looking forward to for the summer break, but at the same time, I'm having to say goodbye to hundreds of kids that I have memorized names and likes and dislikes and taught them stuff. Some of them go on to high school and college and become productive adults. So it is definitely bittersweet in having to say goodbye, and I thought it would be a fun thing to do this year to commemorate the class of 2026 by dedicating a build to them, and as well as all my other students that I've ever had. In the course of the 18 years that I've taught almost 3,000 students. So this build's for y'all. Today, I thought it would be fun to take an iconic thing that we think of for graduation, which is the graduation cap, the weird little thing that they wear. Looks like this. It's kind of boring and ordinary and is named after like what you use to put mortar on to lay bricks with. But I thought it would be fun to D&D style this thing up and maybe make this into a mimic. If you're not familiar, look at the thumbnail and then watch the video. So today we are building a mimic graduation cap out of EVA foam with a free pattern down in the description, dedicated to 2026 class. Let's get to building. 18 years in the same school means I've watched thousands of students walk these halls. Nearly 3,000 young lives, each carrying their own struggles, talents, fears, and dreams. Some students were only here in my classroom for a single year. Others I watched grow from awkward middle school kids into adults with careers, families, and children of their own. I've taught alongside some of my former students, and now I'm even teaching the kids of students I once had sitting in my classroom. That's a surreal feeling as a teacher. Today was the last day of school, and in just a few hours, another graduating class will walk across the stage and step into a brand new chapter of their life. So I wanted this build to mean something. I wanted to make a graduation cap to celebrate the class of 2026, but in a Much Props fashion. I had to put a monster on it. A mimic from Dungeons & Dragons felt perfect for this project, because graduation kind of feels like that. From the outside, it looks exciting and rewarding, but underneath there's fear, uncertainty, pressure, responsibility, and a future nobody can fully predict. But here's the thing about monsters. Sometimes the things that scare us are also the things that help us to grow the most. I started by studying a real graduation cap, designing a pattern, and tracing everything onto some 6mm and 4mm EVA foam. Every build starts as an idea before it becomes something real. Just like lines on this foam, nothing impressive yet, but potentially rarely looks extraordinary in the beginning. That's something teaching has shown me over and over again. Middle school students walk into class still trying to figure themselves out. Some are confident, some are lost. Some hide how talented they really are because they're afraid to fail or stand out. But after 18 years of teaching, I've learned this. Every student has potential worth building on. Sometimes they just need someone to help them see it. Next, I cut all the pieces out with a hobby knife. Cutting foam is all about shaping possibilities. You remove what doesn't belong so something better can emerge underneath. Life works the same way. As we grow older, we slowly cut away insecurities, fear, self-doubt, and the pressure to become what everybody else expects us to be. And honestly, growing up isn't about becoming perfect. It's about becoming more honest about who you really are. To shape the cap, I heated the foam with a heat gun and formed it around a glass dome before assembly. Heat changes foam permanently. Once it bends and cools, it never returns to the exact shape it started out as. People are shaped the same way. Hard moments leave marks on us. Failure changes us. Loss changes us. Pressure changes us. But these moments also build resilience, empathy, patience, and strength we never knew that we had before. The students graduating tonight have already survived more than they realize, and every difficult moment they made it through helped shape the person they're becoming. After that, I applied contact cement to the edges and lined everything up using registration marks before locking the pieces together. A build only works when all the pieces connect correctly, and people are no different. Nobody succeeds alone. Teachers, parents, friends, coaches, family members, mentors, even classmates sitting beside you every day, every one of these leaves fingerprints on your life. As a teacher, one of the greatest honors of my life has been getting to be a small part of that story. And years later, hearing from students reminds me that even small moments can leave permanent impacts. You never fully realize how important connection is until life gets difficult. Next, I smoothed over the seams using a sanding drum and a stone bit before attaching the mortar board top. This is part of the prop build that takes patience. Sanding isn't exactly exciting. It's messy, repetitive, and very time consuming, but refining is what transforms rough pieces into something believable. Life refines us in the same manner. Mistakes smooth over arrogance. Failure teaches humility. Changes build patience. Difficult seasons teach empathy for others. Nobody walks into adulthood fully finished. We're all still learning, adapting, and growing every single year. Honestly, I hope we never really stop growing. I glued a 10mm EVA dowel around the bottom edge of the cap for a little extra detail. Tiny details like this can completely change the final look of a project. It also kind of helps to keep the seams from pulling themselves apart. And the same thing is true in life. Small actions matter more than people realize. A compliment, a kind word, helping somebody who's struggling, sitting with someone who feels alone. After teaching nearly 3,000 students, I can promise you this: people rarely remember every assignment or lesson, but they will absolutely remember how you made them feel. Kindness leaves marks people carry for years. Then I cut some thick 24mm EVA foam to create the mimic's mouth and carved everything into shape. This graduation cap becoming a monster feels strangely symbolic, because adulthood can feel monstrous sometimes. Exciting from far away, terrifying once you're standing right in front of it. There will be moments when the future feels overwhelming, moments where you fail, moments where you feel lost, moments where you question if you're even good enough. But courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is continuing forward despite it. And every challenge you survive becomes proof that you're stronger than you think you were. You survived every single one of your hardest days. Next, I cut individual teeth from EVA foam and glued them into the gums. The teeth are crooked, uneven, and imperfect, which honestly makes them look more real. People spend way too much time trying to hide their flaws, but the truth is, imperfections are usually what makes people memorable. Your awkward phases, your failures, your scars, your weird hobbies, your struggles. Those things become part of you. Imperfection is forgettable. Authenticity is not. So embrace the weird and just be you. I used EVA foam clay to smooth transitions and add texture through the build. Texture gives props history. It makes them feel worn, lived in, and believable. And people gain texture too. Every challenge leaves something behind. Every success, heartbreak, failure, and victory adds another layer to who we are. The strongest people I've ever met are rarely the people who had it easy. They're the people who kept moving forward after life got hard. Strength is built through endurance. I carved the tongue from some 48mm foam and refined it with even more sanding and shaping. This piece took time, lots of trial and error, a little carving here, a little sanding there, slowly refining the shape until it's finally worked. Life goals are built much like this. Nobody transforms overnight. Confidence is built slowly. Discipline is built slowly. Trust is built slowly. The future you want is usually created through hundreds of small choices repeated consistently over time. Success is almost never one giant moment. It's the result of small efforts repeated for years. Next, I glued in the glass eyes and used black hot glue to sculpt the eyelids and wrinkles around them. The eyes completely changed this prop. Suddenly, it feels alive. As teachers, we get the privilege of watching students slowly become themselves. Sometimes you see confidence appear where insecurity used to live. Sometimes you watch students discover talents they didn't even know they had. And sometimes, the biggest turning point for a student is simply having somebody believe in them before they believed in themselves. Watching former students grow into good people has honestly been one of the greatest rewards of my life. Two coats of Plastidip. I dry brush different shades of purple and blue across the skin, the gums, and the tongue to help build layers of color. Painting is where the depth starts appearing. One layer alone never tells the full story, and every student has layers nobody else fully sees. Some are carrying anxiety, some are carrying pressure from home, and some are dealing with loneliness, fear, or struggling they never talk about out loud. So if there's one thing I hope students carry into adulthood, it's empathy. Be kind to people. You never know what battles someone is fighting behind the scenes. Then I hand painted the teeth with yellow base coat before dry brushing lighter colors towards the tip to give that nasty, grimy, teethy look. Highlights are what makes details stand out. These create contrast and bring everything to life. And life has highlights too. Tiny victories, quiet progress, the moments when you realize you've handled something better than the old version of you could have. Celebrate those moments. Growth doesn't always happen loudly. Sometimes surviving a difficult season is already a massive victory. I carefully cut around the eyes so that I can peel the plasti dip and the paint covering the glass domes underneath. Sometimes we have to remove everything clouding our vision before we can see clearly. Fear, failure, criticism, self-doubt, those things can convince people that they're not good enough. But one mistake does not define your worth. One failure does not erase your future. Your lowest moment is not your final identity. And no matter how lost somebody feels right now, there's always still more story left to write. You're the one holding the pen. You're the one who finishes the sentence. To finish the build, I hot glued a real graduation tassel onto the tip of the tongue as one final detail, and somehow that tiny addition tied the whole build together, because underneath the monster teeth, the wrinkles, the eyes, and the chaos, this is still a graduation cap, a symbol of growth, of survival, of stepping into the unknown and moving forward anyways. To the class of 2026, congratulations. To my students heading into the summer, keep growing. And to every former student out there building a life on their own now, thank you for allowing me to be a small part of your journey. After 18 years and nearly 3,000 students, I've realized something important. The world doesn't need more perfect people. It needs more compassionate people, more resilient people, more people willing to help others when life gets too hard. Because success is important, achievements matter, but kindness is the thing people remember forever. And sometimes the smallest act of kindness can completely change the direction of someone's life.
And we are finished. Here is the end result. I know it's a bit goofy and a bit ridiculous, but I thought it was a fun thing and definitely something that I could sink my teeth into. Yeah. Maybe you'll try and make one of these yourselves and impress your friends with your ability to turn a boring, old, goofy-looking hat that you got to wear for graduations and turn it into a goofy-looking hat that you can wear in your spare time for fun. Yeah. Maybe you'll get some.
Yay!
And inevitably, they're going to ask you, how'd you make that? You can give them one of these. Tell them, much props. To the class of 2026, I wish you the best of luck. It was a pleasure teaching you for a small bit of your educational career. Now show everybody what you got. Peace out.
If you enjoy what I do here on YouTube and you want to see more builds like this one, please consider joining these awesome people listed here with me over on my Patreon to build a bigger, better, more creative community together.